One other thing I want to touch on that you mentioned in your intro is that about essentially building businesses or scaling things within Unilever and Philips. Maybe if you can give one example for each about kind of the specific thing that you built within those companies and kind of what it meant to the company from a revenue or ROI perspective.
So at Unilever, um, at some point, Unilever decided to do something quite disruptive. So um, my manager, which is currently actually my former manager at that time, which is currently the VP of digital growth at Adidas, amazing and successful career. He was a super clever guy, an Irish guy, and he was able to convince the senior leaders to hire a team of experts from all around the world. So we got people from Amazon like me, Microsoft, Google. So we formed this team of 8, let's say, super specialists, and they called this team the Hatch House. I don't know why exactly, but I like the name. And we got our room, we got our fancy spot and everything. It was super, super cool. And so the idea was that this super team of outsiders was given freedom to operate but work closely with brand marketeers to test new ideas, new business models. So, for example, immediately when I started, my challenge was to bring supplements like vitamins into into the pill format and create a subscription out of it. It was related to the brand Flora Proactive, which was one of the thousands of brands owned by the company, by Unilever. The reality is that it's really challenging to create something, to incubate something inside a matrix environment, because there are forces that will block you. They won't allow you to move forward. Because in reality, people fear novelty, so they want to stick to the status quo. So the first challenge you have internally, even before convincing the customer about the quality of your offer, is to convince internally that what you're doing is worth pursuing, is worth continuing. And so many projects stopped at the end. So unfortunately, I cannot say proudly, oh, I have the company achieve millions of dollars. But I have the company learning a lot about how to do experimentation, how to organize and set up a team, what marketing campaigns work, what marketing campaigns doesn't work. And so doing these kind of things really helped the company to learn from their mistake more than anything. But it also helped to instill that entrepreneurial culture that is so missing from these behemoths. A bit different the story with Philips, luckily, because I initially took over the responsibility for growing an existing product, which was subscription for the One Blade, which is kind of an hybrid razor. It's a young brand which targets Gen Z and millennials. And so there, basically, I had the company scaling geographically in Europe, in North America, in Eastern Europe as well, with good growth in terms of subscriptions and also improving, I don't know, the conversion rate of the landing page, XYZ%. So some good KPIs to mention. But was also cool that I had the possibility to test out new models with other products. So there was also a portfolio expansion in terms of, for example, trialing out, experimenting with a try and buy model with subscriptions and different payment form of subscriptions. And finally, with the membership based on Web3 kind of decentralized technologies and applications. So there, the idea was to incubate a new membership that was giving more power to the community at the point that they could even decide how to steer the product and the project itself. So quite pioneering, until the point, unfortunately, Philips had some internal huge troubles. So I had to take some tough decisions.
So as you look to kind of how you've pivoted now, and I know you said you're working with kind of AI, more startup focused companies, is that intentional? Just considering what you experienced at Unilever and maybe to a lesser degree at Philips, where when you had these amazing roles at these big companies, but it seems like there's a lot of bureaucracy and red tape to really move things forward. So is that intentional in the companies that you're working with now, that you're trying to work with smaller, nimbler companies where you'll have more freedom to influence their direction?
Well, at the end of the day, I'm really following my my inner spirit. Like there's a call. I'm just following the call. Because if I look back, really, what I can notice about myself, if I do a little bit of retrospective, sorry, is that even in big companies, I was always looking to work at the forefront of innovation in small, nimble teams, in more entrepreneurial settings. In fact, I'm not the classic white collar. Even work, Amazon, when I started, it was a startup. Um, Keiko, which is what was the part of Yahoo where I was working on, was a startup inside Yahoo. At Unilever, I was working for the Hatch House, which was this entrepreneurial team. Philips, same story. So I'm just following naturally my inner spirit that is telling me, Andrea, actually, you're more suitable to work with agile companies within entrepreneurial environments rather than just sitting on your computer getting orders from you know people. Which at the end of the day, you're always serving someone, whether you're serving your customer or your shareholder. There's someone to answer to, but I guess it's really, at least for me, more appealing because it's unstable, uncertain, it's challenging, and that's where I don't get bored and where I thrive.
So, kind of in the same vein, when did you get involved in more of the AI space, right? It seems like that's where you're headed and where your focus is now. Have you been interested in working in that space for a long time, or is it more recent over the past year or so?
Yeah, I've been involved with AI actually for many years. Um, at Yahoo, I was a content editor, and I actually used machine learning to classify items to improve the search results. So I got closer to AI without even knowing what I was doing because I've never been a technical guy. I've always been more from the business and marketing side of things. But then I continued leveraging AI at Amazon. For example, when we were developing widgets and new features, uh, AI based, powered, like the recommendation engine, the personalization engine, these features that these widgets you find on the homepage, for example, recommended for you, or based on what you bought before. And these are all AI based. But then I became even closer when generative AI showed up. It kind of started to become interesting. This was October 2021. I joined as a community moderator, totally out of passion. So no remuneration, nothing whatsoever, just for pure passion to be there. A team, an undoxed team called Contrastive. Undoxed meaning like nobody knew the identity of the team members. In fact, I never seen the face of the team. I only spoke with them a couple of times. And these guys had main jobs, and they created, these guys were developers from Singapore, New Zealand, Australia. They created this cool model, generative AI model, to create art out of text, so text to image. It was one of the precursors of Mid-Journey and Stable Diffusion. So before Mid-Journey and Stable Diffusion were a thing, Contrastive was there. was there with a community of 10,000 members. It was amazing. It was so cool because it seems like I'm talking about 20 years ago. But just to let you understand, right now, when you type something, you create an image in a couple of seconds. When I started, I was typing the image and I had to wait like 10 minutes and see what was like kind of the image taking live. And it was a magical moment. But this guy didn't understand, didn't realize the importance of building a brand, storytelling, of marketing. And while we, the moderators, kept on saying to them, guys, let's try to build this brand and do some activities. They really only wanted to focus on the product, and somehow they've been left behind because building a startup is hard, and it's always a combination of have a great product, great distribution, and amazing narrative. So like the combination of if you like desirability, feasibility, viability, scalability. So I got closer to generative AI. I also developed so many kind of product ideas for them, and worked closely with the team. And from there, other experiences until the point I created Black Cube, which is now a destination for people that are passionate about AI advancements. And there they can find AI tools, resources, technological partnerships.